Bonjour, bienvenue sur CMI. On continue avec la correction de l'épreuve d'anglais pour les séries A, session 2019 au bac. So, part 2, bac 2019, Cameroon, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. Right. So, section C, comprehension, 10 marks. Read the passage below and answer the questions that follow. Use complete sentences and, as far as possible, your own words. Dans l'étude de texte en général, je recommande de jeter un coup d'œil aux questions et pendant qu'on lit les questions, de souligner les mots-clés. Et qu'est-ce qu'on appelle mots-clés? Des mots qui nous semblent importants, même si on ne connaît pas la signification. Par exemple, 1. According to the text, where can you find a great number of cases of indiscipline? In schools. What are the consequences of it on students? Donc, à mon avis, le mot indiscipline et les conséquences sont des mots qui sont importants dans la première phrase, donc je les souligne. Question 2. Should all cases of indiscipline be punished? So, there's the idea of punishment, and then justify the references from the passage. Question 3. List 2 things that can make a teacher punish a student. So we're looking for things that can cause a teacher to punish a student. Okay? Question 4. What advice could be given to school administrators to solve the problem of indiscipline in schools? Alors, ici, je n'ai plus besoin de souligner le mot indiscipline puisque j'ai déjà l'idée vague que le texte parle d'indiscipline dans les écoles. Okay? Question 5. Who is to blame for a child's behavior in school and why? So, blame child's behavior in school. Alors, l'une des raisons pour lesquelles je ne souligne pas trop de mots-clés, à savoir 3, 4, 5, c'est que je risque de les oublier. 6. In spite of the presence of discipline masters and wardens in schools, we still find many cases of indiscipline. So, discipline masters, wardens, and their presence. Ok, je sais que je suis en train de violer ma propre règle puisque je dis 3 et je suis déjà à 3. We still find many cases of indiscipline. What other cause of indiscipline not mentioned in this passage can you name? Oh, génial. Donc ici, en fait, c'est à moi de répondre à la question. Donc, pas besoin de mots-clés en réalité. 7. Is corporal punishment necessary to curb indiscipline in schools? So, curb indiscipline in schools. Give reasons to justify your answers. Encore une fois, pour la question 7, je dois répondre par moi-même. OK? Un autre point majeur à souligner, c'est en compréhension de texte, très souvent, l'ordre des questions suit l'ordre du texte. Donc, il y a une bonne chance de trouver dans le paragraphe 1 la réponse à la question 1. Mais c'est juste... I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. But generally, that's the way it goes. Okay, so the other thing I would do is to identify the number of paragraphs that I do have. So I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. Okay, 7 paragraphs, 7 questions. That doesn't mean that each question corresponds to the paragraph number. But generally speaking, the order of the answers follow the order of the text. Okay. Maintenant qu'on a lu les questions et souligné les mots-clés, on va lire le texte pour avoir une idée un peu plus claire de quoi il s'agit. Alright then, so let's read. It's no longer a secret to anybody that indiscipline prevails in our colleges and high schools, and especially those in urban centers. This situation has been preoccupying the minds of teachers, parents, and government authorities. The effect of this indiscipline are drug abuse, vandalism, moral depravity, and alarming falling standards. Okay, so already there's something I've noticed. They talked about prevailing in colleges and high schools, especially in urban areas. Alors, la raison pour laquelle je souligne ces mots-clés, c'est que je me souviens que, parlant de la question 1, on disait, according to the text, where can you find a great number of cases of indiscipline in schools? Then, what are the consequences of it on students? Et je peux déjà répondre pour la première partie de la question, urban centers. So, talking about where to find a great number of cases of indiscipline, according to the text, we have urban centers. Donc ça, c'est la première partie de la question. Et je continue ma lecture. Je ne suis pas obligé de faire de cette manière, mais en général, ça me permet de répondre beaucoup plus rapidement. Donc, on continue. Discipline can be defined as training, especially of mind and character, to produce self-control, habits of obedience, etc. or etc. or etc. Yeah, I think that's a proper one. Each college has internal rules and regulations, and each has an administrative staff comprising senior discipline masters, wardens, and boarding masters, who are specifically charged with the maintenance of order and discipline. Yet the rate of juvenile delinquency in our colleges is alarming. Oh, that's a lot of new vocabularies. But anyways, what was the second question? The second question was, should all cases of indiscipline be punished or justified with reference? No, we don't have that answer yet. Okay, let's continue. Many people think indiscipline is a device to dissuade or repress those who try to contravene rules and regulations. This explains why most discipline masters, simply look for recalcitrant students and mete out punishment as provided for in college rules and regulations. The risk of this repressive approach to discipline is that it not only creates in the students a sentiment of fear, hostility, or rebellion against college authorities, but also imposes a forceful discipline on students. Some take advantage of any free occasion to disguise and express their anger to college authorities. Je me rappelle qu'à la deuxième question, il y avait... à la deuxième question, on parlait de la nécessité ou pas de punir chaque cas d'indiscipline. Et aussi, on devait justifier la réponse. Ok. Je suppose que la réponse doit se trouver dans le paragraphe numéro 3, ici. Donc, une petite autre règle que je peux utiliser en général, c'est me permettre de dire, ok, ça c'est le premier paragraphe, je suppose que la question 1 s'y trouve. Ça c'est le troisième paragraphe, je suppose que la réponse à la deuxième question s'y trouve. Ok, continuons. Now, poor working conditions of teachers and students are likely to provoke discontent and disorder. For example, The uncontrolled enrollment of children in a class, the poor programming of subjects in a school day, the lack of didactic materials, the poor location of some colleges, which are often near markets, football fields, bars, etc. Ok. Je retourne aux questions. Donc, ils expliquent list 2 things that can make a teacher punish a student. Je suspecte que la réponse à la question 3 se trouve effectivement dans ce paragraphe qui est le paragraphe 4. Donc ici, je crie 3. Alors, pourquoi est-ce que je suspecte cela? Parce que c'est ça qui est important ici. Dans la question 3, ok, déjà on a dit que la question 2 c'était le paragraphe 3. Donc, ici on dit « List 2 things that can make a teacher punish a student ». Et retournant dans le texte, on dit « Poor working conditions of teachers and students are likely to provoke discontent and disorder. For example, uncontrolled enrollment of children in a class, the poor programming of subjects in school, the lack of didactic materials, the poor location of some colleges which are often near markets, football fields, bars, etc. » Donc, ici, on donne les raisons pour lesquelles déjà les élèves peuvent être indisciplinés, mais aussi, parce qu'il y a indiscipline, pourquoi le professeur ou alors l'enseignant va punir les élèves. Ok. On continue avec la question 4. Évidemment, on va revenir en détail pour rédiger la réponse telle qu'elle. Donc, question 4. What advice could be given to school administrators to solve the problem of indiscipline in schools? Ici, je suppose que la réponse se trouve à la fois dans le texte et repose sur le candidat. C'est-à-dire, les problèmes relevés, par exemple, dans le texte, quand il s'agit d'indiscipline, peuvent être utilisés, retournés et puis simplement réécrites. Par exemple, je me souviens qu'ils ont mentionné le problème de l'inscription d'énormément d'étudiants, d'élèves, je veux dire. So, uncontrolled enrollment, j'ai lu quelque chose comme ça. Donc, il y a de bonnes chances que j'utilise cet argument et d'autres pour pouvoir compléter la question 4. Now, 5. Who is to blame for a child's behavior in school and why? Encore une fois, je suis chargé de répondre à cette question. Bref, de la question 4 à 7, il paraît que je dois utiliser mes propres idées pour répondre, mais baser mes idées sur le texte. Donc, continuons à lire le texte et voyons voir si effectivement on peut trouver des idées supplémentaires. OK. The incompetence and irresponsibility of some teachers is also a source of indiscipline amongst students. Some teachers do not take enough pains to prepare their lesson notes in order to render the subject captivating and interesting to students. This sometimes leads the teacher to make monumental errors that expose him or her to criticism of students. Parents are also to blame for the indiscipline of their children. Most of them do not perform their duties as initial teachers of their very children. Abandoned to themselves, these children are free to do whatever they like because of their social status. Certain parents even go as far as making their children believe that they cannot be punished. Some parallel schools hold in corridors and recreational grounds. In such schools, some licentious students mislead their friends who are of good upbringing. Under such circumstances, principals of institutions of learning should revise their strategy and consider discipline and good conduct as an indispensable component of objectives assigned to their schools. Children have to be helped in a teaching and learning process. OK. Donc, retournons à la première question. According to the text, where can you find a great number of cases of indiscipline in schools? On a déjà répondu urban centers. Parce que le premier paragraphe, effectivement, souligne le fait que l'indiscipline est beaucoup plus, je dirais, here they use the word prevails. So we encounter indiscipline way more in urban centers. Donc, il y a plus d'indiscipline dans les villes. Et la deuxième partie de la question, donc, était what are the consequences of it on students? Donc, on retourne dans le texte. On dit this situation has been preoccupying the minds of teachers, parents, and government authorities. The effect. Oh. Okay. Alors, the effect of this indiscipline are drug abuse, vandalism, moral depravity, and alarming falling standards. Donc, dans la question, on a le mot consequences, et dans le texte, on a le mot effect. Donc, les deux ont la même signification, effect and consequences. Donc, je peux simplement recopier cette section, drug abuse, vandalism, moral depravity, and alarming falling standards. Okay, so question 1, urban centers, and then they said, I'm supposed to write here, yeah? Correct, so urban centers. Then we talked about drug abuse, vandalism, moral depravity, what else? I forgot one. I guess that will be, alarming falling standards. So, alarming falling standards. Okay. Right then. Question 2. Should all cases of indiscipline be punished? Justify with references from the passage. Okay, I think I located the answer to this question on the third paragraph, where they said, many people think indiscipline is a device to dissuade or repress those who try to contravene rules and regulations. And then they also, down here, you have the risk. Going back to the text, we said, should all cases be punished? You go back here, we're talking about the risk. So the risk of discipline, indeed, because here we're talking about discipline, yes? So the risk of this repressive approach to discipline is that it not only creates in the students a sentiment of fear, hostility. I guess the answer is actually here. Sentiment of fear, hostility, rebellion against college authorities, but also imposes forceful discipline on students. Right. So what do we say? Going to answer the questions. Should all cases of indiscipline be punished? The answer, obviously, no. If you ask me, then how do you know it's no? Because the text says there is a risk to punish or to just discipline systematically. So, no. Now, justify with references to the passage. As I said before, we said systematic discipline create a feeling of fear. So we have, I'm justifying myself. So there is feeling of fear. There is hostility, forceful discipline, forceful discipline. So we said sentiment of fear, hostility, or rebellion against. Oh, I didn't write rebellion against college authorities. So yeah, you just add it to the answer. So my guess was correct. Okay, let's move to question 3. List 2 things that can make a teacher punish a student. Well, I think I located the answer to this question right over here. Paragraph 4. They said, poor working conditions of teachers and students are likely to provoke discontent and disorder. Okay, discontent and disorder on both parts, both the student and the teacher, except poor working conditions of teachers and students are likely to provoke discontent and disorder. Okay, discontent, both the students and the teacher is going to be discontent, but generally speaking, the disorder will come from the students. Okay, so examples of poor working conditions, we said uncontrolled enrollment of children in a class, poor programming of subjects in a school day, lack of didactic materials, poor location. Wow, that's a lot of reasons. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there anything left? No. Okay, so list 2 things that can make a teacher punish. Oh, just 2. Thank you. So we talked about uncontrolled enrollment, because indeed, too many students in a classroom will cause chaos, disorder, and then the teacher might be forced to generally punish the whole class, even for students who do not deserve it. Okay, so let's write it. Uncontrolled. We said uncontrolled enrollment, poor programming of subjects, yeah, that would be 2. I'll stop there. We had many more reasons in the text. Okay, let's move to question 4. What advice could be given to school administrator to solve the problem of indiscipline in schools? Okay, so I need to point out something. They said advice, not advice. So no S there. So I don't know. Do I give only one or many? Okay, according to the text, as I said. Donc, revenons au texte. Tout ce que j'ai à faire, c'est d'identifier les problèmes que j'avais énumérés précédemment et puis simplement les réécrire ici et dire voilà, ok, vous inscrivez trop d'étudiants, inscrivez moins d'étudiants. So, we could say reduce the number of enrollment. That's one. Okay. Any other ideas? If the school is already somewhere, what do you do? Maybe give priority to discipline. For example, maybe in the school reports, discipline might account for a high percentage mark for the total average points. Maybe. Okay, but no need to write it. Just that's enough. Question 5. Who is to blame for a child's behavior in school and why? Okay, that's interesting. So let's go back and look at the text. In paragraph 5, we have the incompetence and irresponsibility of some teachers. It's also a source of indiscipline. Okay, so we had earlier some sources, and then we have many more. like incompetence and irresponsibility of some teachers. Okay? What else? Okay, the lack of preparation. So some teachers do not take enough pains to prepare their lesson notes in order to render the subject captivating and interesting to students. That's a lot of reasons. So what else? Oh, parents. That's the word. Okay, so I have the word blame here. Parents are, but here you have the word also, which means there are others, not just parents. Parents are also to blame for the indiscipline of their children. Most of them do not perform their duties. Okay, I don't need the rest of it. Let's continue. What else? Oh, I remember. The last part, they say parallel schools hold in corridors and recreational grounds in such schools. We have licentious students mislead their friends. Oh, right. So to jump and answer the question, who is to blame? Well, I could say school administration. So the school administration is to blame. Some teachers are to blame. Parents are to be blamed. Parents, and to some extent, students also. Okay, so why? Back in the text, we have the problem with school administrator. They're the one in charge of school enrollment, so they are to blame for that. The teachers, some of them are just indisciplined and irresponsible. Parents, they don't take the time to take care of their pupils or children. And other students, because some students are just bad students and they want to, what's the word the text use to describe them? Okay, mislead. They want to mislead their friends. Okay? So, why? Why you just have to add it here? I won't do it. I just don't have enough space. Okay, so number 6. In spite of the presence of discipline masters and wardens in schools, we still find many cases of indiscipline. What other cause of indiscipline not mentioned in this passage can you name? Ooh. Alors, comme on disait tantôt ici, c'est nos propres idées. Qu'est-ce qui peut causer l'indiscipline, malgré le fait qu'il y a des surveillants généraux et des chargés de discipline? Ok? Donc, I might say some schools do not enforce school rules. They're laxist. So I would say one of the reasons is non-enforcement of school rules or policies. Indiscipline. What other reason? Just, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. How to qualify difficult students? Yeah, why not? Yes. Difficult students. I wanted to say evil or bad, but that's why I used the word difficult students. Poverty. Yes, poverty. How can poverty encourage indiscipline? Well, you don't want to be in school and you're thinking about other things when the teacher is maybe busy teaching. And sometimes hostility to the institution of education. Certaines personnes simplement n'aiment pas l'école, donc ça peut être une raison valable. 7. Is corporal punishment necessary to curb indiscipline in schools? Est-ce qu'il est nécessaire de punir physiquement les élèves pour réduire l'indiscipline dans les écoles? Give reasons to justify your answer. Okay, so here we have S, reasons. Reasons means 2 or more. Okay, I also see 2 marks, so maybe. Okay, let's see. In case I say yes, corporal punishment is necessary. Why is it necessary? What makes corporal punishment necessary? Well, it's quick. It's inexpensive. And it sends a clear message. It sends a very clear message. No misunderstanding. You late, you'll be scorned. In case we say no. No. Yes, the idea of fear. Fear of school. Fear of school. What else? There is also the fear that some students over time just don't care anymore. So hardened children, I could say hardened students. I will use the word students. And as always, some teachers just abuse students. So there is the risk of injury. There's always the risk of injury. Okay? And I think we are all set and done with comprehension. Okay, thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more lessons from CME, visit our YouTube channel. It's called Community Mentorship Experiences. Or visit our Facebook page, which is also Community Mentorship Experiences. And of course, we do need support. So please support us by subscribing to our channel and also by liking our videos. Only if you enjoyed them. If you didn't, don't like it, actually. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.